Hello, Nomad Sculpt, and this video is about adding or placing textures on your objects. This is the first video. I think I do a few more tutorial videos on this topic. Okay, so here in Nomad Sculpt you see here graffiti and concrete texture on this stairs. Here this is topology. I use very low poly objects for this. Yeah, okay, let's start. I create a new scene, and the sphere we don't need, I delete it. And we need a new primitive. So here it's just for information. Here is keep primitive UVs. Here's a checkbox. So for the box and the sphere, I don't know if other and the plane. So when you press here box and inspect, then your box has a UV map. So if this checkbox is off, then the box has no UV map. Okay. So, okay, for the box, I activate the wireframe, and we need box topology division 0. So it's okay. So let's adjust the box a little bit for the step of the stair. I think something like this is okay. This is one step of the stair. Okay, I think we can validate this object. And here in the material, I set it to the smooth shading off, so we can see the clean edges and so on. So when we inspect the UV map of this, so we see it's not correct. So every face here is the same size like the box when we started, but on the object the sides are different. So we have to change the UV map. Okay, how to do this? So for this we need the cell mask, or cell mask is the fastest way. And on the left side here you see symmetry is active, turn symmetry off, and we need, I think the rectangular tool is okay. So, and I activate the outline. So, and now mask this side face, and here in the mask menu, here it's possible to split the mesh and make sure that smoothness is off, and here the settings are non and split it. So we separated now this face of the object. And then next step is select the box again, mask, split, and we change the rotation. So we select the box, mask this side, split it, mask this and split it. So the last two objects are this one, and I think we can keep it. Okay, now we need UV maps. So, and first we can join some parts together. So this side here and the back side, oh sorry, we don't need the mask at the moment, so we can rotate this object and hold on the side menu the smooth button and press on the other object. So now in the hierarchy the objects are selected here and we can join it. And the same for this object. Smooth button and join it. So we have now 3 object parts. In the hierarchy, I select all now and I add a group node and I name it as step. Okay, textures. Okay, so let's start with the sides. And here in the MISC menu, it's possible to unwrap the UV map. Press unwrap and select the front and the back side, unwrap, and the top and the bottom, and unwrap. So we got nice new UV maps. Okay, inspect we don't need anymore. And let's place the textures here. So here in the solo view, we got this one. We can now choose here our texture in the photo gallery. I use this one. And I think we have to show our textures. So here it's possible to rotate the texture. So I rotate it 90 degrees, something like this. Or, yeah, I undo this. So maybe it's okay. So here it's also possible to mirror the tiling, and maybe here to 0 and maybe scaling of 2. And in the translation we can place it here in a position like this. So it looks really rainy or wet. So I think it's okay. Or we can bring this wet part more in this direction. Something like this. Yeah, okay, let's try it like this. Then select the front. Choose again your texture. And I think we have to rotate it now. Or, yeah. 2. And position here something like this. Could work. And I hope you understand. Okay. And the last part is here the side. So 90 degrees and yeah, I think it looks nice. If you like here, you can, sorry, here's a normal map. You can apply also a normal map. Sorry, I think this one is a normal map for this. Let's try it with normal. Not photos. Sorry, it's in the files. Okay. Now all the textures are in position. So the next step is we can select here everything and create a clone of this. So this clone we can combine and join together, that it's only one part. And so for this object, be careful here. So when you press inspect, the UV map has overlaps, and so we have to create a new UV map. So like this here. And now it's possible to bake the texture from the other objects here. So when here we can set roughness, normal, and so on. Yeah. Opacity we don't need. So let's try the baking. So let's see the solo view. And now our object, okay, has the new textures on the UV map. And it's a single object here. So this is the object, and these are the UV maps. The new UV map. It's a very hard word. So okay, the next thing here is we can try to paint the roughness. Doesn't work, so it looks a little bit, yeah. Smooth shading. Yeah, the normal map is a little bit too much, I think. So I think it's better. Okay, so this is here's a wireframe, and why is it showing? Ah, yes. So this is a wireframe, and if you like it a little bit smoother with smooth edges here, and we can do it other way. So let's delete this one and let's make it visible and show the textures. So okay, let's clone this object again, join it, and now we use the voxel remesh. So let's remesh this whole thing, and I use now the round all brush, and I'm rounding the edges here a little bit like this, and here we can decimate the mesh down. So I think this is a nice topology, and now we can unwrap the UV map. So you see here, this UV map is real crazy, but it works the same. So here we can bake now the texture from high res, and yeah, it works fine. So this is what you get, and here smooth shading, we can turn it to auto, and here you see normal map roughness, and yeah, I think it's okay. A nice stair step. Okay, so the textures here, in fact, we don't need them anymore, so we can delete them. For the stairs, we can create here now a group node, and here put this step here out of the group. So I rename it as step. And here on the group node, you can add now a curve repeater. So here in the right view, we can set our length of our stairs and how high and so on. And now when you're fine, you put the step back in the group. So, and now it's possible to change here the value of the step count. So something like this. So if you have to do small adjustments here, we can scale it a little bit. Yeah, but it looks fine and okay. So when you look at this here, everything looks the same. So we have to bring in variations. So here it's possible to validate the curve, and we keep the instances, yes. So to keep the poly count low and so on. And select now step, and here it's possible to use the rotation snap, and you can here, for example, rotate your step and change a little bit the texture, something like this. And here in the matrix, it's also possible to change the variations here. You can set a negative value to the whole thing here. Then it flips the texture, and you can play around with it a little bit. So maybe use the rotation, and here again like minus. Let's play a little bit. Yeah, I think it looks nice. So I renamed this as stairs. So, and the next thing is, let's create such a wall. For this I add a plane here and put this plane out of the stairs group. And we can use the gizmo and rotate it in the front view. And then we can change here the dimensions, or bring it in position here a little bit longer. And for the topology here, use only as usual 0. So let's validate this. So the next thing is we trim a part here, hole filling off. I use the line trimming option. So I draw here my line and I place it. Symmetry is off, so I trim this. And use the mask tool, extract the whole thing with a shell thickness. So I mask this object, pressing on the screen, and I extract. With a gizmo we can scale it a little bit. In the front view, place it. I think it's okay. This object we don't need anymore, delete it. So this is here the wall. Okay. And so we need the UV maps for this wall. I use the solo view, the right view, and use the cell mask again. And symmetry is off, rectangular, so I mask this and I split it. Select the main object, mask, split. Main object, split, split. So, and this is in the front view. Split. Sorry, we have to select it and split it. So now here add a group. This is a wall. Textures. So here we can create our UV maps and add our textures. So, but for this object, I use here other technique. So I select here all the parts, and here in the advanced settings, we can set here the checkbox to keep topology. So, and now go back and join this object, and here in the MISC menu we can unwrap the whole thing. So yeah, and now we have our wall. So let's create a clone, bring it out, and so let's test the voxel remesh. So last time I had problems, so now it looks fine. And round the edges, oh, it's not enough. And use the decimation. So I zoom a little bit in. Yeah, it's okay. So unwrap the UV map. So this is our wall, and this are the this is for the textures. So here it's possible to separate the single parts and place here the texture on the single sides, but I use now a complete texture for everything. So let's place here the color texture. And the scaling, the rotation is okay. So I think this looks nice. I think. Okay. And for the mirror, it's nicer. So, and let's place the normal map. Get a little structure. Change it a little bit. So roughness. Okay. So let's hide this group, select our wall and bake the texture. So roughness, normalness and so on is active, and press bake from high res. So I think this is nice. So here you see this edge here you can apply on the single maps other texture so that it fits better. But for this tutorial video it's too much time. So okay. So the wall textures we don't need anymore. We can delete them and make the rest again visible. So like this. Here we can use this stair or this step and pin the pivot and select our wall. So then the gizmo here stays in position, and then we add a repeater node. Sorry, not a repeater, a mirror. So now we have our second wall. And the last thing here I show you is how to place such a graffiti on the wall. So I use now the insert tool and I place a plane here on the wall and check the divisions so we can validate this and put the plane out of the mirror. So, and for the texture we use I think it's in the file sections, downloads. So here's a graffiti. It's a PNG with a transparent background. And so with a gizmo, and the pin pivot is active. So now we can rotate this a little bit, place it. So we can okay, this is a nice position. And here it's really important. This is really important. So here in the material settings here, turn off the two-sided. So turn it off. I think if there are problems with the texture baking, check the two-sided option. Okay, so two-sided is off, and then in the hierarchy select the wall, and let's check here the texture baking. So here's at the moment from high res 12, so it's too much. So I think we have to hide the stairs. So here is now bake from high res 2. So I think it's okay. So let's bake it. And yeah, I'm curious about the sorry. Maybe it's a roughness or something. So there was something wrong. Here is something going in a wrong direction here. So I don't know what the problem is at the moment. So okay, let's do it again. So bake texture. So we need no normal, no roughness, and only the color. So let's bake it again. Yeah, it creates such a cut here when baking. Okay, this is a problem for the next tutorial, I think here. So the plane we don't need anymore, and we can make the rest again visible, perspective view, and now we can add a light and activate the post-processing. I think it's okay. So that's it for this tutorial. Have fun with sculpting and ciao.